Christmas time. Christmas time. Christmas time. Christmas time. Christmas time. Oh! What the fuck? Wait, actually, what the fuck? Why is... I love tech. I do, man. I gotta say how much I love technology, man. I just love when it works all the fucking time. I mean, I do. I love it. I really do. I really do. What's up, everyone? Alt F4. Oh, would that would worked? Way too early for this shit. Yo, since when has Kitty been streaming in the mornings? You got turkey in the fridge.
What are we supposed to say? You've been good, but Santa ran short?
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
This year, Badge Sound will bring you a special present for Christmas.
All right. Sure. Just know I'm dancing, folks.
Santa Claus.
Just know I'm dancing. Just know I'm dancing. Now, why is my hair green, man? I mean, I'm about to lose my fucking shit. I need you guys to understand something. Did you saw Flight reaction to yesterday's game? No. Which one of you is responsible for the green hair? Huh? Santa Claus is coming to town. What are you guys asking for Santa Claus this year? Huh? Tech problems are the worst. I don't even understand what happened here. You need a new green screen? I don't. I just don't know what the fuck's going on. Our goal is to make you bigger than Kai Cenat. That's doable. Let's get into this, shall we? Who won Saturday Night Football last night? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm being dead serious when I say I have no fucking idea. And I knew I needed to know, but I think it was the Packers because Jordan Love popped off. All right, because I had him in fantasy and I got a lot of notifications. Who won the Heisman this past weekend? We knew that they were going to ask that. Travis Hunter. I mean, obviously we would know that. If they start asking the order, it might get a little... Who's the last Houston team to win a championship? That's the Astros, obviously. It's an easy one. Which of these teams isn't in the 12-team football playoff field? Alabama's not in it. I know that. All right, SMU, Dallas, Texas, stand up. They're in it. All right. We got college football out of the way. After missing out on one starter, the Yankees signed this pitcher for $218 million. Max Fried, I know that. Come on, baby. We're locked in today. Where did number one Hoops recruit AJ? I still don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name. DeMonta commit this last week. BYU, surprisingly. All right, we got college sports questions out of the way. Which of these MLB pitchers hasn't won 2+ Cy Young awards? Blake Snell has. It might be DeGrom. I think it's DeGrom, surprisingly. Fuck! Was it Burns? I thought it might have been DeGrom because he wasn't healthy enough. Like, he's only had a couple seasons where he was really healthy. Fuck me, man. In 2013, this NFL team started the season 9-0. Wasn't that didn't the Chiefs have a crazy-ass season like that? All right. With Alex Smith. Which of these MLB pitchers has more career wins, Justin Verlander or Max Scherzer? I'm going to assume Verlander. I'm going to be pissed off if we got every other one right. Across NHL, NBA, NFL, MLB, who is the oldest active player? Ooh. Is Rich Hill active? He's in his mid-40s, I think. Wow. Well, that's frustrating. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a little bit frustrating. Look up. Superman. That comes out next year? That comes out one day before my birthday. How about that? Wait, who even is Superman? Have you ever gotten the 10 in a row? Yeah, we've done it a few times. I am filming with my iPhone, yeah. Clark Kent? Oh. Smaller actor, David Cornsweet. Why is it a bad idea to film with my iPhone? No, it's not the Robert Pattinson universe. Cornsweet's an interesting last name for sure. But also at the same time, Cornsweet, it kind of fits. Here's the reality. You need an American to play Superman, right? Superman's a corn-fed boy from Nebraska, right? Isn't that where he's from? Somewhere. Or Smallville, I guess. But where's Smallville supposed to be? Kansas? You need somebody named Cornsweet. You can't have a Robinson. Well, I've just so wanted to play the role of Superman. It's always been a dream of mine. Growing up, I just wanted to play Superman. No, you need somebody I'm not really an actor, but they wanted me to be Superman, and I said I'd do it. Did you watch the free throw contest, the Lakers, Memphis? I didn't know. It's Elseworld, so James Gunn is going to have the DCU with Superman and another Batman and all the DC characters, and then there will also be Matt Reeves' universe. As long as the movies are good, I don't care. It is a little confusing. It's, it takes maybe 30 seconds of research to figure out what's going on. But I do understand people's confusion. Cornsweet sounds like the last name for a college quarterback in the Sun Belt Conference. Yeah, and one that's been in college for 8 years. It's believe it or not, Cornsweet does have an extra year of eligibility. He's 27 years old. I think that's the weirdest shit. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think that's the weirdest shit in the world. I don't think college athletes, I think there should be an age limit. I just think you reach a weird point where it's why is a 25-year-old playing with an 18-year-old? You know, I think you just reach a strange point there. And I really hate, who's that fucking guy on Kansas? Like, if you're in your mid-20s and you're like taunting and you're talking shit, it's like, dude, get a grip, grow up, and literally get a job. Literally get a job. You can redshirt an injury. Redshirt has a weird. Back in my day, man, you had 4 fucking years, maybe 5. Back in my day. Dalton Connect is 3 from 30 from 3 in December. Holy Moses. I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad. I did not know it was that tragic. Yeah, COVID eligibility made things weird. I mean, there was graphics going around. There's that a wide receiver who is in the same high school recruiting class as Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's still playing college. Those are always the craziest ones. And that what's that guy's name, the Utah quarterback, Cam Rising? He was in Trevor Lawrence's high school class. That doesn't even compute in my brain, bro. Like, Trevor Lawrence has been in the NFL for how long? College eligibility used to be 3 years. Apparently, there are rumors that it'll expand to 5 years within the decade. So this trend will be the usual soon. I don't like it. I have a buddy from middle school, same grade, age, who's still playing basketball in college, and I'm 26. You know, more power to you, I guess, but I gotta wonder, like, are these dudes walking? I mean, you gotta have a PhD, right? Like, are they in law school? How does that work? Are they just racking up degrees? Hey, you know, more power to them, I guess. I think it's weird, but I won't judge them. It's a little strange, though. All right, today we got, I know a guy from my hometown that's 30 and was playing college tennis last semester. Depends on what age you started uni. I'm 25, graduating right now, and I'm surprisingly one of the younger ones in my class. Oh, I'm not talking like just being at college, right? Because you get a wide range of age groups there. I'm talking college sports. You know, you have plenty of people who, for whatever reason, didn't go to college right away. They didn't want to. They couldn't afford it. They, they had started a family early. You know, whatever the case may be. I was the first person in my family to go to college and graduate right out of high school. Everyone else in my family who did get college degrees got them later. One year at the University of Miami, led by Shane Larkin, had 4 25-plus-year-olds on his team. College sports, to me, like, I do feel, you know, I mean, and I say this to somebody who doesn't watch. So this is the worst type of analysis. These are the people I hate talking about the NBA stuff with. Because it's like, I don't watch the NBA because they said Black Lives Matter in 2020. And I'm here to tell you right now, they don't matter. It's like, all right, bro, you were never watching. Like, let's just be honest. You weren't watching at any point. Talking about college sports, what about Johnny Broom for the Mavs as Maxey replacement? I don't know any college basketball players besides Cooper Flagg at this point and Ace Bailey. Well, I will say, I've seen some like clips of Ace Bailey. I'm not sure. It feels like he could be a bad miss. Dylan Harper, I did not see his game winner. No, I'm telling you guys, it's like college basketball is a complete and total blind spot until like February or March, and even then, it's a pretty big blind spot. It's just not my thing, not my forte. No generational stars in this draft. Yeah, from what I've seen from Cooper Flagg, it doesn't seem very generational. But he does look really good, though. Better hope that tough shot making transfers with ace. That's the thing. That's all of his shots are so tough, and he makes them. But it's a little bit spooky. I think NIL for college football combined with expanded playoffs makes that sport more interesting. Growing older, I fall out of love with college sports because it feels weird due to the age of players. You know, it's like I saw a tweet that South Carolina was announcing that they basically re-signed one of their players for like $3.5 million. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what? I mean, not to be grandpa, get off on. These kids should be getting paid. Like, don't get me wrong. They absolutely should be making money. But it's just like really weird. The only time I care about college sports is when I'm at the game. I mean, I liked it a lot whenever I was in college. I went to the games and stuff like that. Football games are so bad to be at. I'm telling you right now. College football, it was fun for the experience, tailgating, getting to the crowd, being in the student section, everyone being drunk off their ass. That's one of the things people don't get where it's like, dude, college football just has this atmosphere. Yeah, because there's 60,000 19-year-olds who are drunk as fuck at the games. Okay? You need to understand that. You're not replicating that atmosphere anywhere else. All right? You're not replicating that when there's just 100,000, 30 to 60-year-olds who are there with their kids and peepaw, Did you get to see Mahomes live? Yes, I was at Texas Tech when Patty Mahomes was there. It was pretty great. We called him Patty Maheisman. He should have won it. Michigan has let you buy alcohol at the stadium, so you got a pregame only. And unless Texas Tech has changed that, which I think they did change that, actually. But that was the case with Texas Tech when I was there. You could not buy alcohol at the games. Which, and I believe it or not, this might come as a surprise to you. Maybe not. I don't know. I did win a public speaking competition at Texas Tech once. I won a lot of money off of it, too. Big public speaking competition. I spoke in front of 2,000 people. And by the way, it was scary because it's like a tournament. You're public speaking. You have to, if you want a communications degree, a degree in the MCOM building, media and communications. If you want a degree there, you have to take a public speaking course at some point in your time there. Public speaking, or there was another one. It was either public speaking or business pitch or some shit like that. I don't remember what the other class is called. So you do it, and then your public speaking professor nominates one person from each class to represent the class in a public speaking tournament. He picked me, and I ended up winning that bitch. I was the best public speaker at Texas Tech that year, at least. And then the final round, I want to say I won like $1,000 or some shit like that. I mean, I won a decent amount of money. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, the final round, you went to like the union. You went to the union and gave a speech in front of 2,000 college kids because they basically forced you to go. Like, you got extra credit. And it was basically like, hey, if you're struggling in this class or you want to boost to another letter grade, you have to attend this. I don't know if I got a trophy or not. Sly tells this story once a year. Did I? But anyways, I say all that to say this. The topic of my speech, and maybe this is why I resonated with the young crowd, was why Texas Tech should sell alcohol during football games and sporting events. That was the entire speech. But it wasn't just because I was like, dude, we should all get fucked up. But it was because there was a lot of studies, actually, that show. A lot of studies that show that selling alcohol during the games is much safer than not, because everybody gets so incredibly drunk before the game. Everyone binge drinks like crazy. And actually, in places where they do sell alcohol during the games, the amount of alcohol-related arrests during college game days is dramatically lower. So there you go. There you go. Said he shot selling alcohol during the game makes the home team win more. I don't know if that's true, but that would be interesting. Standing ovation, yeah. And I'm so cringy, man. This is what I realized, like, if you want to make it in this world, you got to be embarrassing sometimes. Because it was back when Bud Light, or was it Bud Light, Coors Light, was doing the dilly shit. And I thought it was the lamest shit in the world. I did not think it was funny at all. But I threw a dilly joke in there. And it was like thunderous applause. It's like, I was like, oh my God. Is this that easy? Slightly for Congress? Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I worked at Domino's near the campus when Mahomes went at Tech. I might have ordered pizza from you. I have another embarrassing college story. Should I share it now, or should we get into the stream finally? I don't even know if I could share this story. All right. It reminds me of pizza. So it was a certain holiday around April that degenerates only celebrate. If you catch my drift. The month that starts with a 4. Okay. And, you know, I'm like fucking 19 years old. The 420 holiday. Right? So I partake in the celebrations. And I'm feeling really good. In fact, I'm feeling great. And so I'm hungry. I'm like, I'm going to order some food. Jimmy John's, freaky fast delivery. There was one right by my apartment. Literally, they got there in like 3 minutes. Crazy as shit. I ordered a Jimmy John's sub. I open the door. Hey, what's up, brother? Hey, what's up, dude? Dap him up. Get the food. Start eating it. Delicious, right? I get the Italian from there. So good. About 10 minutes later, I get a knock on my door. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, I'm like, who is that? Is that the police, maybe? I open the door. Papa John's is right there. They're like, hey, what's up, man? You ordered pizza? I was like, what? Oh, yeah, I got a large pepperoni pizza and some breadsticks. I was like, oh, my fucking God. I ordered Papa John's pizza, and in the time between it got there and I ordered it, I forgot I ordered it and ordered Jimmy John's. So I ordered Papa John's and Jimmy John's. And I had a great night. The stories are helping the drug allegation slightly. No, it's all right. I mean, everybody already assumes I'm like a huge pothead stoner all the time. You know, I'm not even gonna say it. Shit. I've seen people in person who are like, yo, man, if you ever, you know, want to do blah, 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 hit me up. And I'm like, no thanks. But I will say, it's the long hair and color glasses. I know. I get it. I get the vibe I put off. But I will say, I have not smoked weed, done any THC thing in years upon years. I mean, it's been so long. So long. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like it. I never really did like it. It's not for me. It's just not for me. That story's so funny to me. Just I'll never forget opening the door and seeing Papa John just being like, wait a second. I forgot I ordered that shit. Hilarious. All right, let's get into it. What about CBD? So I did try CBD once. I don't think it does anything for me. I think a lot of that shit's placebo personally, but I think it affects people differently. Marcelo. What about heroin? Never tried heroin. Never say never, though, I guess. Never say never. Well, I did CBD gummies once. You know, I had a stretch where I was just like having really bad anxiety. So I was like, let me try out these CBD gummies. I tried out CBD gummies once. I took a fucking 4.5 hour nap. I was like, all right, dude, I'm not doing that shit again. Like, I'm not. Maybe I could have tweaked with whatever, but I was like, all right. They say never. It's okay, LeBron. Ben Simmons got this. Hey, LeBron. We're good. Would you rather Luca got the 50 or Clay got the 30 piece? Clay getting a 30 piece would have been sick. All right, salute. Not gonna lie, I saw the Uncle Kane would be hilarious. All right, let's start the stream. Or let's start the we're 30 minutes into the stream. Let's start the slightly early portion. Yeah, but saying he got 30, that rolls off the tongue better. Where do you think Luka is in the MVP race? It's just so fucking early, dude. I mean, it's just so early. Bro, what is it? Slightly pulsating cock. I mean, what are we doing, guys? All right, story time is banned. I mean, slightly girth reveal win. Yeah, story time's banned, guys. All right, no more story time. Story time's over. I'm tired of being objectified. I'm tired of it. At this juncture. Good morning, folks. It is Monday, December 16th, 10:04 a.m. Central Standard Time. A little late. I don't even want to begin to describe what we've been talking about on the stream up until this point, but nonetheless, it is time to finally talk about basketball and what has transpired over this past weekend. Of course, we're going to talk about the Mavericks beating the Warriors last night. I think I'm going to do a video about this later today, maybe. So I don't know how deep into detail we'll get on this one. Just that this Mavericks offense has just been clicking lately. It's been the best offense in the league during their 12-2, 14-game hot stretch. Now, their defense has been around league average since then, and I got a little pushback. I got some shit for saying that the Mavericks defense was good, not great, and I really do stand by that. I do stand by this Mavs defense being good, not great. You know, you watch the Rockets, you watch the Thunder, you watch the Timberwolves, who have been really good lately defensively. Those are great defenses, the Magic. This Mavs defense is good. It locks down, it gets stops when it needs to, which is, with this offense, really all you need. But it isn't great. But offensively, man, this team is timely defense. That's a good way to describe it. This team is just clicking on all cylinders offensively. A lot of that has to do, obviously, with Luka Doncic and his performances returning from a wrist injury. He did have a rough one, I guess, against the Thunder. But I'll sort of attribute that and most of that to the Thunder playing defense and also the way that they guarded Luka. You know, they double-teamed him, they trapped him, they blitzed him. And I thought, even with all of that, I thought Luka did a pretty good job passing out of that, and the Mavs getting good looks off of it. But, still didn't shoot the ball well in that game, 5 of 15, whatever. We already know what happened in that game. But in this game against the Golden State Warriors, Luka, his best game of the season, far and away. 45 points, 11 rebounds, 13 assists, only 3 turnovers, 3 steals, 2 blocks, went 16 of 23 from the field, 6 of 11 from deep, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. So what is that, 10 of 12 on 2-point shots? I mean, that's the Luka Doncic that we're all accustomed to. That guy who's unstoppable when he gets 2 feet inside the 3-point line. The guy that's unstoppable when he gets into the paint. The guy that has a floater, a mid-range, a fadeaway, that turnaround shot. He can step back at the elbow, whatever the case may be. The Luka Doncic that's pretty much unstoppable. And what that opens up for this Mavericks team whenever I saw somebody made a great point about this, and fuck, I wish I remember who said it because I would love to shout them out. But Luka can bend the defense so much with the attention that he draws, with his scoring ability, with his passing ability, obviously. Now adding one of the best floor spacers in the history of the sport, one of the best catch and shoot guys in the history of the sport, and Klay Thompson. that breaks the defense. So Luka bends it. The addition of Klay Thompson breaks it entirely. And that's just kind of where we're at with this team offensively. This was the vision. When we said all offseason, like, this could be the best offense in the league. Like, at worst, this feels like a top 3 offense. That was Iztok Franco on his Substack. All right, that was Iztok on his Substack. Shout out to Iztok. I did not read his I am subscribed to Iztok's Substack. And I think it costs money, and I need to read it more, admittedly. But because I'm paying for it. So I might as well read it. But I saw his tweet where he said that. It's a great point. If Klay starts shooting 40% on 10 attempts like he can, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, and I mean, we saw this. We talked about this a little bit. Let's look at Luka's recent games. Is there a platform where this is easier to do? To look at guys' recent games and their stats in an Outlook? I love Basketball Reference, but there is, it's just like kind of nerdy. Here is where he was out for his wrist injury. Missed 5 straight games. Since then, his return. Take your time. It's all right. Take your time. No, it's all right, Basketball Reference. Keep loading. No, it's all right. I'm only streaming in front of hundreds of thousands of people currently. But since his StatMuse is terrible. I'm sorry. I think StatMuse gets shit wrong. I do. I think StatMuse is incorrect a lot of the time. 6 games since he returned from his wrist injury, he's up to 30 points, 10.7 rebounds, 9.3 assists, 52% from the field, 42% from deep. That is the Luka Doncic that we've grown accustomed to. Yeah, Mavs played beautiful basketball yesterday. Seriously, the ball movement was exquisite. We didn't even have Najee. Yeah, so I mentioned this stat on Locked On. I think it was maybe the 6th or 7th time in the Luka era that as a team, the Dallas Mavericks had over 35 assists. Expect a very lengthy email, StatMuse. Side, you see you got a shout out on the recent numbers on the board podcast. I did see that, yeah. Shout out to those guys. Love those guys. We dreamed of the days when the Mavs moved the ball like that with Luka on the floor. Yeah, and I mean, it's still, you look at the numbers here, 16 of 23 in the game from Luka. 23 shots, 13 assists. It's just a different type of basketball, man. It is. Anybody who's watched this team at all knows that. Luka's usage is down compared to where it's been in years past. His touches are down. And I do think that that's a good thing. You look at, here's just his usage numbers over the years, according to Cleaning the Glass. I mean, this is the lowest it's been since his rookie season. We're at 40% last year, 41, 42, 40, 40. Was that really his usage rate? Was it really in the 40s? Luka is finally buying into a team offense the way everyone said he needed to, and now they're saying he's fallen off. Well, I mean, I'm interested to see what his usage was last night. 36, which, again, is pretty much lower than where it's been the entirety of his career. Basketball difference usage. Yeah, that's kind of the thing whenever you use Clean the Glass, is they the way that they filter out stats and stuff like that. But there was Luka got a catch and shoot 3 in this game where I think the ball touched every single player's hands and the ball swung to Luka and he just got like a wide open 3 off of it. It's just when you have guys who can dribble and pass the ball, it's good. It's good that Luka doesn't have to do all of this stuff. It's good that Luka's not required to do everything for you offensively. I'm not sure how that was a controversial opinion. I'm not sure why people disagree with this, that it's good for Luka to be playing like this, why it's better for him, better for the team. And obviously, it's just a sign of roster construction. It's a sign that your roster is better more than anything else. Like, that's what it is. It's not like the team set Luka down and said, hey, you need to play like X, Y, and Z. Hey, you need to, if you want to go back and comb through the archives of this channel, been saying forever that this team needs to add guys who can do more shit so Luka doesn't have to do everything. Just an excuse for his poor start. I kind of think that's what it is too. The Ringer most recent top 100 list is interesting. Yeah, we looked at it a little bit last night. Many people contradict themselves when they talk about Luka Doncic. And if you didn't think this guy was capable of playing off ball or whatever, like, you're crazy. This guy's way too talented. And there's definitely some stuff that he should still, there's definitely some times where it's like, oh, Luca, you should have cut there. Like, oh, your defender's top blocking you. Why don't you just cut to the basket? And he had one of those last night. Man, I hated that we kept adding one-way players next to Luca for years until Nico stepped in. Yeah, I mean, that was the way the team was built, man. The team was built to have guys who are one-dimensional, 3-and-D guys, whatever the case may be. Hey, I'm a rim-running center. That's all I do. You got to throw me lobs. Like, you got to throw me lobs or else I'm not doing shit. Hey, I'm a 3-and-D corner three-point shooter. I have to catch and shoot. I can't dribble. Like, I can't dribble. The Mavs built their teams like a 2002 basketball team. He only became so ball dominant because for years the Mavs had no ball handling. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. Anybody who watched the game saw that. It was like Luca. It's like Luca needs to do X, Y, Z. It's like, what the fuck do you want him to do? Who do you want him to get involved? Reggie Bullock? Like, you want Reggie Bullock initiating offense and breaking guys down off the dribble? God bless him. I loved Reggie's time here. I thought he was really underappreciated by Mavs fans. Reggie Bullock. Hey, if it were up to me, Reggie Bullock would never have to buy a drink in this city. Okay? What's he up to? Did he retire? It's like what's happening with Jokic right now in the NBA, sort of. Yeah, I mean, what's funny though is everyone with Jokic is like, yeah, I mean, what do you want him to do? He's doing everything. Like, it's great. And then when Luka does that, it's like, dude, pass the ball more. He's chilling on Block Island. All right, I respect that. I mean, he's not on a team right now. 33 years old. Remember the first 2 weeks of Jason Kidd, of Dorian posting up and role players bringing the ball up? Suddenly our offense was trash and everyone wanted Luka to go back to his ball dominancy. Reggie Bullock, Frank Ntilikina, Trey Burke, Dorian Finney-Smith need to create offense, bro. God, these rosters, dude. What the fuck were they? What the hell were they doing? What the hell were some of the teams that Luka was rolling out there with? Like, what were some of those squads? Even when you look at their conference finals team, it's like, what was going on there? That team made the conference finals? Sterling Brown, and Sterling Brown will never buy a drink in this city, if I have to say of it. That conference finals run when he would just stand on the bench, never would get in the game, but would stand on the bench with his warm-ups on, his warm-up pants on, but his warm-up top off, and he just had his jersey on with the sweats tucked in, the jersey tucked into the sweats. Oh, man. I saw a clip last night on Thinking Basketball Channel on Memphis, and he showed a Mavs clip. The roster on the floor was Luka, Dwight Powell, Ntilikina, Kemba Walker, and Dorian. Hey, man. Kemba Walker. The Mavs, so Reggie Bullock, that conference finals run, that was it. That was the end of his career. The Mavericks literally ran him into the ground that season. God bless him. We'll love him forever for it. We will love him forever for that. But Kemba Walker, too. That 30-point game against the Cavs that one night. That was it. That was all he had left. And they lost. I'm so excited we were finally free of the Mavericks for fans begging for Zach LaVine and Andre Drummond. God, man, we've had some dark times. But that's what having a guy like Luka Doncic does, though, is it allows you to be like, dude, all we need is just to be decent, and Luka can drag us to the finish line. Like, just give us Zach LaVine. Like, give us something. See, Luka learned the Kyrie handshake? Yes, Luka learned the Kyrie handshake. It's pretty fucking funny. It catches you off guard. It looks like a 2K thing. Like, you see it on 2K, and you're like, what? Luka would never do that. But Luka was incredible in this game. Klay Thompson had his best game as a Maverick in Golden State. Good to see for him. 29 points, 7 of 11 from 3. He's been getting going lately. The 3 ball has been hitting a little bit more for him. I haven't even really been dooming with Klay. I haven't thought he's been bad at all so far this season. I feel like the way people have talked about him a little bit in Mavs circles hasn't really matched what I've seen. But he's been shooting the 3 ball well lately since his return from the plantar fasciitis stuff he's been dealing with. He's 47% from 3 on 7.5 attempts per game. 16.6 points. I mean, that's what you bring him in. That's what you bring him in to do. You know, I mentioned that it's just like it's the cherry on top of the cake for this Mavericks team. It's like they didn't bring in Clay. They didn't pay Clay. You always look at what they pay guys. They didn't pay Clay. They didn't bring him in to be the third option. They didn't bring him in. We need you to score 20 points a game or else we're not going to win basketball games. They bring him in to space the floor. They bring him in as another option the team has, as a shooter the team has. And if he's like, and also you have the threat still of him popping off for 30 points and going 7 of 11 from deep. You know? That's just the cherry on top of the cake. Can you explain how teams like Houston or Orlando can have such big jumps in regular season wins without having top-tier players? We had Luca and never had a season like that. What do you mean? I mean, the Mavericks still have won 50 games multiple times in the Luca era. I'm not sure the Magic or Rockets are going to win 50 games this year. Clay much better than this. But also, those teams are built for the regular season. And I would say the Mavericks, talent-wise, in years past, have been probably better than their regular season records would indicate. You know, look at that. But the fact that they made the finals last year as a 5 seed, they made the conference finals that one season as the 4 seed, I think they were, that postseason. Like, you know, it's the Mavs have been an underwhelming, I would say, regular season team. Luka Doncic had multiple scratches on him after the win. Physical game. So you think the Rockets will drop off? Think they are paced for top 60? We're going to talk about them here in a bit. But anyways, a really nice and impressive win for this Mavericks team, who offensively they're clicking lately. I mean, they're clicking and firing on all cylinders. So it's really good to see against a Golden State Warriors defense that was still top 5 in the league entering this game, and they've fallen back down to earth a little bit. 14-11 now for them. Steph Curry was good in this game. Of course, you know, you just have to, anytime you watch a Warriors game, you have to factor in Steph's going to have a flurry of 3 threes in a row or some shit. Didn't really happen towards the end of this game, but he was 7 of 13. I mean, the Warriors, 27 threes in this game. It was only the 11th time, 12th time in NBA history a team has made that many threes. I believe they had, 18 threes in the first half. And follow us on the broadcast, that was the most threes ever by a team and a half. And they lost. Saw you and Nick disagreed on the night. Why you don't like it for regular season games? So I didn't fully explain why I don't like it. I'm a big believer that you have to mix up your celebrations. I'm a big believer in that. That's why, like, I think year to year you have to mix things up. You need a new celebration. Like, I think the standing on business from PJ, that was a great organic moment. And the night was a great organic moment. The Mavericks don't, do the standing on business thing that often, which I'm happy about. If the Mavericks started to do that every game, I'm like, all right, guys, can we tone this down a little bit? Steph definitely did 9-9 against us in the 2022 Western Conference Finals, right? I couldn't remember when he debuted that. I could not remember it. Oh, the barking too. It's like, all right, you guys got to move on from barking. Warriors fans clowning PJ, but he would be their second best player. I mean, Draymond's been incredible this year in a lot of ways. So anyways, my thoughts on Kuminga, I said I have a lot of thoughts on him. He's one of the strangest players in the league to me because he'll get he had 20 last night, 20 on 9 of 15. I don't feel like he's a very impactful player at all. Am I wrong in thinking that? I don't feel like he impacts games in ways that you would want when you want to pay guys $30 million plus dollars. Like, he's going to get his stats and stuff like that. He's uber athletic, and sometimes you just bank on that. But I don't feel like he's super impactful to a basketball game, you know? He gets to his mid-range. He's a pretty nice mid-range jumper. All that's cool. His impact is very circumstantial. On matchup and touches, yeah. And I mean, don't even get me started on pods. He's been terrible. But this kind of segues me a little bit into talking about the trade they just made. So I got to apologize here right off the rip. I got to apologize to my December 15th truthers out there. Because we were making fun of it. I was making fun of it. I was like, December 15th, everyone always goes crazy about December 15th. Everyone loves December 15th as a trade date. It's one of the bigger trade days of the year. Nothing ever happens. The amount of trades that happen in December are so small. You usually have to wait until February. But we got a pretty decent trade. I mean, we got the Indiana Pacers traded for Thomas Bryant. And I told you guys when I did that trade video, when we talked about the Pacers wanting a center, I was like, that trade's going to be ugly as fuck. I saw Pacers fans who were like, Robert Williams, whatever other big centers there were on the market. Robert Williams, could this be Valanciunas? Could this be Nurkic? I was like, that's going to be ugly as shit. Whatever the trade ends up being. It's going to be disgusting. Thomas Bryant. But Dennis Schroder moving to the Warriors, that's a pretty big trade. The Brooklyn Nets get 3 second-round picks. I like it. I really do like it for the Warriors. It makes a lot of sense. It fits like a glove. Some interesting sort of reporting on it. That I'm not sure what to believe because there's reports that they were talking about Cam Johnson and they didn't want to include Kuminga in that deal, but then I saw other reports that are like, they really didn't want the Cam Johnson stuff, didn't really get too far. We'll see. I thought this quote from Draymond was really interesting. Draymond Green on the Dennis Schroder trade. I don't think he was necessarily brought here to fit. We play a certain style of basketball he does not really play. We need someone who can do the things he does. I'm looking forward to us adjusting to him. More Draymond. We have to adjust to him because he's bringing something this team needs. To just make him fall in line with what we do, we'd be wasting our time. We need somebody that can do what he necessarily don't do, and I think that's what he'll be for us. I think that's a great quote, and I think that's actually a really good point. That they needed somebody like Schroder who, maybe the game can slow down a little bit, can go get his own bucket. Maybe, the game slows down a little bit. Hey, let's run a high pick and roll. We have another guy on our roster who can handle the ball in these situations. And I think it's a really, really good fit. Steve Kerr on the Warriors training for Dennis Schroder. I'm thrilled. I told Dennis today he's kicked my ass on 3 different continents. That's pretty funny. That's pretty good. This trade was purely a talent boost. Yeah. Do you think the Nets could have got more than 2 seconds for Schroder? Are they valuing Melton as somebody they plan to re-sign now? No, I think, I thought maybe there was a world where a desperate team could have given up like a late first, but he's expiring and stuff like that. That sounds about right. Now, I do think it's interesting that we got a trade like this kind of this early in the season. Again, it's pretty rare you see trades this early. Teams usually like to feel out what they have and wait until the deadline. But I do wonder now, like, the landscape of the league has changed a little bit. The Western Conference, is it open? I'm not so sure, but you have these older teams that are in small windows. And if they feel like, hey, this conference is going to be competitive as fuck, if we slip up a little bit or we find ourselves, 5 games above 500 at the trade deadline, whatever the case may be, that's going to be a deep hole to dig ourselves out of and try to avoid like a play-in spot, which we don't really want to be at. So why not just make moves now to ensure that we're not in that position? And I wonder if maybe we see more trades in the coming weeks because of that. Do you think Orlando really missed out on a cheap deal for Dennis Schroder? Feels like they could have easily done better. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I always fantasize, and I thought Schroder would have been an amazing fit on the Magic. We always kind of fantasize about stuff the Magic do, but they've sort of shown that they're just not, they have a certain type of player they look for, and they're not like willing nor ready to go out and make trades like this right now. Sly, do you think the Kings should blow it up next season? I mean, we'll see how the season ends for them. If their season ends like in a play-in exit or whatever the case may be, Fox being on the move feels like absolutely something that could happen. Zion should be the move for the Warriors. Whoa. Do you think the Mavs make any moves this year? It's really difficult to try and figure out a trade for them. Really difficult. Jason Kidd on the Warriors acquiring Dennis Schroder. Yeah, it's a great pickup for the Warriors. A vet who understands how to win, can play both on ball, off ball, so he fits. It's a great pickup for them. Great job. Great trade, honestly. I really do like it. It's a great pickup. Fits like a glove. And if these reports are true, that they were talking about Cam Johnson and maybe there was a Kuminga aspect to it that they didn't want, I'm interested to hear what you guys think about that, because I think the Warriors are kind of talking out of their ass in a lot of ways with Kuminga. The way that they talk about he's the face of our team after Steph leaves, like he's going to be the face of our franchise moving forward. I think that's all a show. Like, it doesn't match at all the way that they've handled anything with him. I do agree Cam Johnson is better than Kuminga, absolutely. But then you have to wonder, if Kuminga is our centerpiece, like if we're going to make a trade for Jimmy Butler, for LeBron James, I don't know. If we're going to make a trade like that, Kuminga has to be the centerpiece of it. And if we were to attach him to a Cam Johnson type trade, what's our trade ammo now? It's Podziemski. I mean, who the fuck wants him? I kind of agree. Kuminga for Cam, I don't know. Because I don't think Cam Johnson would be fantastic on this Warriors team, but does that like put them where they absolutely have to be? I'm not sure. And also, honestly, who's to say they don't revisit that in a couple months? Pods for Hardy, who says no? Well, the Warriors say no, but. When do we play the Celtics? How are we feeling? Mavs play the Celtics in January, I think. Pods to the Mavs so Luca can mentor him. Dennis, very good fit for the Warriors, despite Warriors having a lot of guards. Dennis brings different things to the team. Yeah, they need what he's got. Absolutely. So it's fun to see a trade happen. We're going to do another trade thing. ESPN dropped a trade deadline 2025 10 players to watch thing, and I want to read that. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm in. This is early for me to be in on trade stuff. I usually wait until like mid-January even. But I'm kind of in. Send pods to untapped potential camp. But let's talk really quickly about the in-season tournament, the NBA Cup. Everyone put your cup on. Oh, and if you haven't liked the stream, make sure you do so. It helps me out tremendously. It's YouTube Know having a great time, which we are. Which we are. We have our NBA Cup final set tomorrow night. It's going to be the Bucks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. OKC's opening as a 4.5-point favorite. I'm excited about this game. I really am. We had two pretty good and entertaining Cup games on Saturday night. The Hawks and Bucks. This was a fun back and forth game. The Bucks end up winning by 8, but it was close up until the end, and then the Bucks started to pull away a little bit. But Trae Young, I mean, this has been a great Cup run for Trae Young. I feel like the reputation surrounding Trae Young has increased tenfold after this Cup performance that we have seen. 35 points and 10 assists in this game for him. Thunder is so much better than the Mavs this year, and it isn't even close. I mean, the Thunder might be the best team in the NBA. Like, they really might be. Giannis' defensive stop was legendary. Yeah, Giannis had a block in this game that was unbelievable. At a big moment in the game, too. I don't remember the exact time. But the Bucks are such an interesting team to me, man. They're an interesting one. 2:40 left in the game, 5-point game. I mean, that's incredible. Both Giannis and Brook Lopez, to be fair. Brook made a good play on this as well. Like, I think even if Giannis doesn't come over to help there, I think Brook's getting that, even if Giannis doesn't come over. But holy shit, I mean, that's a crazy block. And there's the angle from the other baseline is absolutely crazy. Was this the angle right here? Oh! I mean, what a play to high point that ball like that. Absolutely incredible. How do you guys feel about the crowd? So I heard a lot about this. I don't know. I didn't think the crowd was going to be like crazy. The crowd seemed fine to me. Everyone was shitting about it, but people were saying St. Louis should get the team instead of Vegas. So I saw people saying because the crowd in this was a little bit lackluster that Vegas shouldn't get a team. I mean, it's different whenever they have their own team. Don't the Vegas Knights have one of the best crowds? Like, yeah, they're not cheering for like a Vegas team. It's kind of weird because it's like these are kind of last second games. So it's sort of weird traveling to Vegas and buying tickets, buying a hotel, buying, plane tickets, all of that. So you're probably going to get people who are just in the area or whatever. And like, yeah, I'll go to the NBA Cup. Vegas is a tourist town. I don't get the sports team moving there. But the Vegas NHL team is very good from what I've heard. Apparently it was Atlanta heavy because the Falcons are there. Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting. Now, it's funny. Whenever the Thunder and Rockets game started, Richard Jefferson on the broadcast was like, it's really interesting to see who's the crowd's going to cheer for. Like, it's just probably going to be whoever's winning at the time. Immediately, the Rockets win the tip. Dylan Brooks hit the ball. The whole fucking stadium booed. The whole stadium. It was like everyone came together in that moment. Everyone came together in that moment to boo Dylan Brooks. Just hilarious stuff. Sally, another reason for not watching as much is when your team is bad or is out. I feel zero connection watching the NBA Cup with the Mavericks being out. How can I change my apathy? I don't know. I would say maybe just tune in. The Cup games have been good. I thought both these games were really good and fun, to be honest with you. Summer League usually has some decent crowds. Yeah, but those are like hoop heads. I mean, if you're going to a Summer League game, you're really invested in the NBA more than likely. People make trips. To go to Vegas during the summer to watch the Summer League. The Cup is a little bit different, where it's just like you're there at the time. It's like, fuck, we might as well go. Why not? What else are we going to do? Traveling to watch Omax run 12 pick and rolls is insane. I think you're more so traveling to see the young guys. Like, I don't know. If you're going to like a Mavs Bulls game when it was Jaden Hardy versus Dalen Terry, yeah, you're a hoop aficionado. Like, nobody can ever question your love for the game. Straight up. But anyways, this was a fun game right here. It's fun. This is, in my opinion, what it's all about. Is like a team like the Hawks, who have been pretty good lately, but not on everybody's radar. They get a chance to play in a game like this, which sounds kind of, patronizing because they were in the Eastern Conference Finals not that long ago with Trae Young. But I like that Trae gets an opportunity to show everyone, hey, I'm still fucking really good, by the way. I know our teams haven't been that great lately, and my reputation has taken a hit because of that, but I'm still really a good player. And Giannis can say, hey, I still make really big plays in really big moments. And Brook Lopez was great in this game, too. I think Brook is so slow, but fuck, man. He's still an impactful player. Every year I'm waiting for that. Brook Lopez has reached the point where his cement shoes are so heavy that he's straight up too slow to play in the NBA. Like, it's reached that point. He's too fucking slow. And yet, we haven't gotten there just yet. But I kind of like, especially with Chris Middleton coming back, and he's yet to look like Chris Middleton, but let's just assume he gets there. I like this new direction the Bucks have gone with. Pat Connaughton, out of the rotation. He stinks like shit. Good. See ya. Gary Trent Jr. off the bench, reduced role versus what we saw at the start of the season. Cool. Andre Jackson, more minutes. I like him. Plays with a lot of intensity. He picks up the other team's best player pretty much every single night, especially their best guards. And I thought he did a pretty good job on Trae Young in this game. His energy is much needed. Now, of course, there's some, when he's out there, teams sag off of him. The Hawks were doing in this game. That's problems for another day. But he gives you something that you really need. And just a huge boost of energy when he's out there. Right? AJ Green getting rotational minutes for you. Knock down threes, space the floor, plays pretty solid defense, good team defender, solid one-on-one individual defender. You need that. Cool. You got it. So I think that they definitely have righted the ship here. And it's just funny, like the additions that they had, where it's like, damn, they went and got Gary Trent Jr. Unbelievable. Really hasn't been good for them. I even myself and other people were like, dude, Delon Wright's a pretty nice addition for them. Kill a Doc Rivers, hell yeah, kill a Doc Rivers. So this is a fun game. The Bucks move on. They've been playing really well lately. And then the Thunder and the Rockets. Defensive slugfest for the first half of this game. Then the Thunder remembered, oh yeah, we might be the best team in the league. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander popped off in the second half of this game. They had no answer for him. You know, it's games like these for the Rockets, right? Where, I mean, defensively, they check every fucking box. They do. They check every box. They just have so many elite perimeter defenders, so many incredible athletes, so many lengthy players. They can switch everything, and you know, there's never really a mismatch. Even a small guy, Fred VanVleet, plays his ass off defensively. You know, Jalen Green, for all his flaws, not like a terrible defender or anything like that. Really great athlete, so he's got that going for him. And Şengün's been much better. Yeah, Darvin Ham is undefeated in the NBA Cup. That's true. But it is just like offensively. So you check all the boxes defensively of being a real team that's contending at a real high level. Offensively, I'm sorry. This is where it's like man, if you swapped, I know I've talked about this a lot, but if you've swapped Jalen Green with Zach LaVine, what does this team look like? And I'm just throwing it out there. And the only reason I even throw it out there is because I've seen Rockets fans themselves throw it out there. Oh, well, I mean, Fox, yes, obviously. Fox absolutely, I think, takes this team to another level entirely. But we're saying maybe realistic trades this season. It's interesting. They just have times where they need a bucket getter so bad. And, you know, Fred VanVleet is prone to games like these. 3 of 15, 1 of 11. That's very bad. But, like, you know, he's not like the most consistent shooter. We know how inconsistent Jalen Green is. Şengün struggled a little bit in this game offensively. Hartenstein did a great job on him, 13 points. And then, you know, Dylan Brooks took 17 shots. That was kind of out of necessity. They were helping off him in the corners. We know that's what the Thunder like to do. 13 threes for Dylan Brooks. I mean, how many of those were corner threes? I'd venture to guess almost all of them. Anthony on this team, that'd be interesting too. But I really like this Rockets team, and they're obviously a piece away from like contending at the highest level. And then the Thunder, I mean, they just make it happen. You know, Shai in the second half of this game was unbelievable. 5 steals. He had 4 steals in the first 4 minutes of this game, I think. J-Dub got bucket after bucket. So, okay, here's something that's interesting. J-Dub, 20 points on 8 of 20. We just talked about Jonathan Kuminga in the game against the Mavericks had 20 points on, I don't remember what the shooting was. It might have been 20 shots as well. I don't remember exactly. But I mentioned how the Kuminga offense doesn't feel impactful. Like you watch, I don't know. I don't feel like Kuminga's really impacting a game at a super high level. J-Dub, I absolutely feel like J-Dub impacts the game at a high level. Like his 20 points, it feels like comes, you know, Shai's on the bench. The Thunder need some offense. J-Dub's running the show, and he's getting to that mid-range, you know, that mid-range shot where he bumps you off. He's fading away. He's hitting it. Tough bucket when you need it. He's improved so much as a playmaker that he can sort of run the offense and initiate things whenever Shai's off the court. And yes, defensively, J-Dub is much better than Jonathan Kuminga. Absolutely. J-Dub might be the best in the league behind Russ at getting the crowd into a game. Yeah, and he does get the crowd into it. And, you know, also another thing I want to talk about. This obviously, we talked about the Thunder in detail in a video a few days ago. But Lou Dort, the Dortcher Chamber, our favorite player, as you know. But Lou Dort is at 40% from 3 this year. I mean, he was at 39% last year. And we saw it in the playoffs. Even though he was shooting at that percentage in the regular season, the Mavericks said, yo, we don't give a fuck what your shooting numbers are. You gotta beat us. We're helping off of you. And the idea for the Mavericks was, we're going to help off of you. Okay, but we're going to contest really hard. So whenever you do get a pass, we're going to close out incredibly hard on you, and you're going to have to put the ball on the floor. And he struggled in that series from 3. What did he shoot in that series? 31% from three on nearly 7 attempts a game. Game plan for the Mavericks. Teams are still doing that. The Mavericks did it in their game. He went 3 of 7 from three. The Rockets did it in this game. He went 5 of 9 from three. He's 40% from three this season. If he's like consistently hitting those, and some of these are over like, again, watching this game, it was similar to what the Mavs did, where we're going to help off of you, but we're going to close out really hard. And he was still shooting and making those shots. I mean, that's really big for them. That's really big for them. Because Caruso, 20 minutes. Caruso is just a really nice luxury for them. And I think we'll be surprised in the playoffs when Caruso's getting like 15 minutes. You know? I think we'll be a little bit surprised from that. Yeah, the Rockets shot horribly from three in this game. I mean, both teams were shooting poorly at the start. But both teams are two of the best defenses in the league. So that was to be expected. So anyways, I'm pretty pumped about this game tomorrow night. I do think that the Thunder will more than likely win. But it'll be interesting. I'm really interested to see how they play the Giannis thing. Obviously, nobody has somebody who can go one-on-one with Giannis. But with Chet out and now you have Hartenstein, the rest of this team's not big, the Thunder. They lack size in that department. So I'm really interested to see how this goes. It's going to have to be the three-point shooting. The A.J. Greens of the world, the Chris Middletons of the world, the Brook Lopez's of the world are going to have to knock down their threes whenever Giannis kicks it out. Because that's what the Thunder team does anyways. And they're going to build a wall. They're going to make driving as difficult as possible for Giannis. We'll see how it pans out. I'm excited about this one. PJ Disrespect, he would lock Giannis. Well, unfortunately for the Mavericks, they didn't get a chance to find out. My cat is the cutest cat for real. No, mine is. Oh, he was chilling on the couch, but he left. All right, let's read this real quick. Trade targets, trade slops. Sadly, I'm not calling Tatum as good as SGA, but why can't Tatum be MVP if SGA can? Both teams might be as equally stacked with supporting talent. SGA has just been better. In a playoff setting, I do to Shea what OKC did to Luca in the NBA Cup. Just double him. Just send a million bodies at him. All right, what's this article right here? NBA trade deadline 2015, 10 players to watch until February 6th. Oh, the trade deadline's February 6th. Okay. From Bobby Marks. All NBA honors handed out after the regular season come with a trophy, or in the case of some superstars, a significant increase in salary. The first annual all-trade buzz team, ESPN's look at 10 players league scouts and executives are watching closely with trade season underway. All right, here we go. Guard Dennis Schroder, who had headlined our list, was a player named by most NBA decision makers, and for good reason. He was traded, son of the Golden State Warriors. All right, so they're plugged in. Jimmy Butler. Do we really think we're getting a Jimmy Butler trade? Is this just going to be one of these annoying things that we talk about ad nauseum for the next month, and then nothing happens? I'm not sure how I really feel about this. I always try to, anytime something like this happens, I try to, who benefits the most? Who's benefiting the most from rumors like this? And it does sort of feel like some leverage from Jimmy to try and get a contract extension from the Heat. But at the same time, I'm not sure. Like, it kind of has reached a weird point where it's like, maybe this is just over. Butler has 2 years remaining on his contract, $48.8 million this season. So fucking hard. So hard. So hard to find a contract to match that. Butler's market and free agency could be close to non-existent. Yeah, no team with cap space is going to make that happen. It'd have to be a sign and trade, and those are becoming increasingly more difficult. For example, luxury tax teams such as the Warriors and Dallas Mavericks would need to trade a quarter of their roster to match salaries. Oh, man. I mean, that's crazy, bro. That is crazy. Oh, this article doesn't give us any, like, juicy tidbits. It's just like, oh, these guys might get traded. Oh, that's a little lame. Zach LaVine, I'm interested. Do they put any interesting trade? Everyone always talks about Zach LaVine, and it's kind of similar. He's making $43 million this season. So we talk about how difficult it is to find a home for Jimmy Butler. I mean, Zach LaVine's in the same camp. I just what is the team? I do like the idea of Houston, but LaVine is owed less money and he has showcased improved health and production. Does that make him a likely candidate to get traded prior to February 6th? Not exactly, according to the West general manager. If we were operating under the 2017 CBA and there were no apron rules, I can make a case to my owner on LaVine, one team told ESPN, but his salary boxes you into a corner on how we can add to the roster. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. LaVine to Denver. I kind of like the idea of that, but I just don't think contractually it works. Like, you'd have to trade Jamal, which you can't do this year. So it'd have to be MPJ for Zach LaVine. No. MPJ plus some. Brandon Ingram, again, good luck. Good luck finding a home for him. $36 million. He does have a... He does have an expiring contract, so there is that. There's a difference between getting something done and having the opportunity to make it all work, and we haven't yet. Pelicans Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations David Griffin said before the start of the preseason, if we get to a point where it's the right time and the right fit, we can. Unfortunately, we just haven't been in a situation where the parties have met in the middle. So they don't want to pay his ass a max contract, and Brandon Ingram wants a max contract. That's what they're saying. Ingram, 27, has averaged 22 points or more in 6 straight seasons. Finding an interested trade partner should not be difficult. Is it, though? Like the Spurs. If the Spurs made a big move for Brandon Ingram, I mean, theoretically, he's not that expensive. Trade capital-wise. So you could still have trade assets to make bigger moves down the line. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Ingram with the Spurs. I really don't know. To Portland, that one was tossed around quite a bit for a while. I could maybe see something like that, but then Portland's like committing to paying Ingram, and then what is that? Like, where does that even put them? I don't see Detroit really. Ingram to Detroit makes sense. But then, like, the thing is, you're then paying him. You're paying him, like, you're only making that trade if you're paying him in the offseason. No trade materializes. The financial landscape of the NBA makes it challenging to trade for him. Outside the Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder, the top teams in either conference are in the luxury tax or apron and are restricted on first-round picks to send into trade. Yeah, I mean, beyond that, too, like, what other top contending team makes sense? He makes no sense on the Mavericks. The Nuggets would have to trade MPJ for him. That would make no sense. Ingram to Charlotte is what I really want as a native North Carolinian. Zion, I feel like is the wild card here. Okay, what the fuck was this report? Was this not one of the weirdest reports in a long time? Shams Charania last week reported that the Pelicans have no desire to waive Zion Williamson. Was that not strange? What was that report about? Was that ever in question? Once reports like that start floating around, you have no choice but to be like, okay, what the fuck's going on here? Like the Warriors aren't, the Pelicans aren't going to trade or waive Zion Williamson. They're not going to release him. Was that a question? Now, the only thing that I guess would make sense is if there was a thing in their salary, a thing in his contract where it's like, if he misses X amount, you could waive him and not have to pay him the rest of the contract, whatever the case may be. Yeah, Shams reported last week that the Pelicans have no desire to waive Zion Williamson. Everyone was like, what? There's games played stipulations in his contract? Okay. I guess that makes some sense. Should New Orleans explore the trade market for Williamson and build around Ingram? That's a dire situation there. That is a dire situation there. That sentence is sad. I'm not going to lie to you. That sentence is fucking sad. He broke the weight clause. Is there actually a weight clause? I'm not even looking that up. I think if you trade Zion, you trade Brandon Ingram, and you're tearing that shit down to the studs. I mean, you're completely and totally rebuilding. Jonas Valanciunas. Jonas is interesting. I'm telling you guys. Jonas to the Suns. There's something in my bones that tells me that could happen. Why would the rebuilding Wizards sign a 32-year-old center, especially after they drafted 7-footer Alex Sarr? They wanted a vet, and they wanted a guy they could trade. And Jonas Valanciunas absolutely should get traded. That's a sad situation there. All trade buzz second team. D'Angelo Russell, once again, welcome to the all trade team. Obviously, if the Lakers make a move, he'll be attached. And he's been shit this year. So in years past, it's been weird because he's always kind of balled out before the trade deadline. And you look at D'Lo and be like, damn, but he is kind of important. Does Nico really need to make a trade if Max keeps getting better? No, the Mavs really don't. It's just hard to find a Mavs trade. It really is. There really is a weight clause in Zion's contract? I mean, I remember people talking about that, but I could never remember if they were fucking around or if it was real. I gotta look at this. The weight clause. Wow, yes. Zion Williamson's contract with the New Orleans Pelicans includes a weight clause that requires him to maintain a combined weight and body fat percentage of no more than 295 pounds. Wow. So wait, what if he doesn't hit it, then what? His guaranteed money can be reduced. Dude, this is embarrassing. Williams' salary for the 25-26 season is partially guaranteed based on how many games he plays and whether he meets the weight clause. All right, look, we can shit on AI all we want. This is really helpful. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is unbelievably helpful. Assuming this is all correct, of course. Yeah, it could be wrong. That is the problem. Have we had a weight clause in a contract before? Man, maybe. Got to read the actual sources. All right, let's read the source on this. Sporting News. This is the one right here I'm interested in. The weight clause. Okay. Williamson can, however, potentially get all that money guaranteed. Again, it's complicated, but here's what have to happen. Last season, Williamson needed to miss fewer than 23 games to avoid his 25, 26, 27, 28 salaries becoming non-guaranteed. He missed 53 games. If Williamson passes 6 weigh-in checkpoints during the 24-25 season, to pass, his body fat percentage and weight must add up to no more than 295. For example, if he weighs in at 285 pounds, he cannot exceed 10% body fat. Then 20% of his 25-26 salary will become guaranteed. If he plays at least 41 games in 24-25, another 40% of his 25-26 salary will become guaranteed. Why the fuck did he sign this contract? Dude, what was his agent doing? Was his market that bad? Wasn't he? Dude, I think you could have found a team desperate enough to give you a fully guaranteed contract. I really do. Wow. Dude, so, all right. So, I'm trying to understand this exactly. And I know we're late here on this, but I never fully looked into this. So, if Zion doesn't pass his weigh-ins, and if he misses more than 41 games, or if he plays in less than 41 games, they can basically get out of that contract for $0. Is that what I'm understanding? I mean, this is what I'm understanding right here. 20% guaranteed if Williams passes all 6 of his weigh-ins. All right, so if he doesn't do that, you take away 20%. So Zion misses over half the season and doesn't hit his weigh-ins. They can get out of that contract. Wow. That's so interesting. That is so interesting. That is a great contract for Nola, for sure. Man. They'd have to waive him, but yeah, they can't get out of that contract. Okay, so that's where the waive reports make sense. Okay. Got it. Interesting. D'Lo, obviously, yes. But anyways, as I was saying about D'Lo, in years past, D'Lo's always like sort of popped off around the trade deadline time. So you're like, oh god, he's so important to like. They need his floor spacing and shooting. Like you can't really trade him. This year it's like you trade his ass now. Colin Sexton's an interesting one. According to ESPN's Tim McMahon, Utah is expected to be active in the trade market if the right deal materializes with Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, and John Collins. Considering Sexton has another year left on his contract and Utah has amassed 13 first-round picks over the next 7 drafts, there's no urgency to move off one of its more consistent players. That's sort of where it's interesting for some of these teams that already have so many draft picks. It's like, are we going to trade another guy? Jeremy Grant's interesting. Now, I saw a report over the weekend that they want a little bit less than what they were asking for last year. Last year, I think they were asking for multiple picks. It kind of sounds like this year they just want 1 pick. I think Grant's kind of an interesting player. Weight min and max are more common than you think, but it's not usual in the NBA. That feels like an NFL thing. Bobby Portis. Sources confirmed to ESPN that Milwaukee had a deal in place last season. Dude, you remember this shit? To send Portis to Dallas for Grant Williams. The Bucks eventually passed, and Williams was sent to the Charlotte Hornets for P.J. Washington. I cannot tell you how worse off the Mavericks would be right now if that happened. They no way in hell did they make the NBA Finals last year, but they were probably in the play-in tournament. And then who the fuck knows what happens? That makes you a little bit worried that was even an option. Like, P.J. Washington was not option number 1. It's a little concerning to me. Like, the Mavs really lucked out. Because the Milwaukee passed on this. Then Kyle Kuzma said he didn't want to come here. And then the Mavericks ended up with P.J. Washington. Great move by Nico. Yeah, but Nico lucked out a little bit here. Nico did luck out. So they're basically saying if the Bucks want to upgrade the roster, Bobby Portis is unfortunately the guy that they have to trade. All right. Maxi Kleber for Dallas. Yeah. I mean, same thing with Bobby Portis. If there's a trade, he has to be in it. I would say Ben Simmons, what would that even look like? What would a Ben Simmons trade look like at this juncture? 40 mil? We talk about how difficult it is to find a home for Jimmy and Zach LaVine. What team is cutting into 4 or 5 rotational pieces of trade for Ben Simmons? A buyout for sure. You weren't high on PJ before the deadline either. No, I remember you saying not to trade at first for him. Yeah, I think that was for Gafford. I said that about. I don't remember what I said about PJ. How the fuck did the Sixers get Beard for Ben Simmons? That was a Morey masterclass. I think the Suns will try to get out of Beal's contract, assuming he's willing to comply. Yeah, I mean, the Jimmy stuff's interesting. I think there's actually some smoke there. If they get Jimmy Butler for Bradley Beal and a pick and a swap of like 7 different teams have rights to that swap as well, I'm going to be a little annoying, bro. I'm going to be a little annoyed. What do you think it would take for the Mavs to get Obi Toppin? I don't see that happening. If we would have got Bobby Portis, I think we would have just traded Tim Hardaway Jr. sooner. I think the Mavs would have been like a team looking to make some huge shakeup. Like maybe the Jimmy Butler trade makes a lot more sense for the Mavericks in this scenario. Where the Mavs are like, dude, we're so desperate. Like, fuck it. We'll cut into our rotation. Hero and Beal backcourt would be so hilarious. That's also why I'm like, why would the I just don't get it from the Heat side of things. Like, obviously, yeah, for the Suns, I get to trade Bradley Beal for Jimmy Butler. Like, fuck yeah, you're doing that. You're absolutely making that trade. But Miami has to say yes. It's like, I get to take on Bradley Beal's shit-ass contract, and I get a 2028 pick swap with 18 different teams involved. What am I, the 12th most favorable between the Grizzlies and the Jazz and the Rockets and the Kings and the Lakers and the Clippers and the Timberwolves? I get to choose the sixth best option out of that? Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. What up, Sarah? What the fuck is this fascination with Toppin for Dallas? I don't know. I think it's just a name. I don't really see the fit, to be honest with you. If we got Bobby Portis, I already read that. What would you give up for Herb Jones? I mean, I'd give up a lot for Herb Jones. I don't think it's happening though. So if we get Simone Fontecchio, are we sweeping the playoffs? I like Fontecchio. Could Rudy Gobert be a sneaky trade candidate? No. They've been playing much better basketball lately. The Timberwolves have. Let's look at a pretty busy slate of games tonight on the docket. Sixers and Hornets. Man, Philly's only 3.5-point favorites in that game. Who's even fucking playing for them? Obviously, Embiid's out with a sinus fracture. McCain's out for maybe the season. Sad times going on there. Heat playing the Pistons. I have a feeling that will be a fun, entertaining game. Bulls, Raptors, Cavs, Nets, Nuggets, Kings, Jazz, Clippers. Wow, the Kings are favorites against the Nuggets. Interesting. And then tomorrow night, of course, we have the Cup final. We'll talk about the results of that game and all the fallout from it on Wednesday, slightly early. And then Thursday, we're back to regular scheduled programming in the sense that the Cup is over and it's just the regular schedule for all of these teams. There are no Wednesday games. I'm assuming they did that because they didn't want to schedule a team for a Wednesday game and then that team go on to win the tournament or play in the final, and then a team has to travel back from Vegas and they're playing a back-to-back. Like, that would imagine how much that would suck. Like, yeah, we made the Cup final. Now we have a game that doesn't count for our regular season standings on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we get a back-to-back game that does count towards the regular season standings. Kings always play well against Denver. Thursday's a busy-ass night of games, man. Usually the NBA tries to steer clear of the NFL, but I guess not this year. Is the NFL done with Thursday Night Football? Don't they cut that off at a certain point? No, they got Broncos, Chargers. They just probably rightfully assume nobody's going to give a fuck about that game. Do you see the AI developers put a dummy file in their system that the AI would be deleted, and the AI attempt to preserve itself by saving its file on another server and then pretended to be the new AI itself? What? Is that real? The Chicago Bulls are expected to aggressively shop Lonzo Ball. That's kind of scary that the AI can do that. All right, if you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. I love you. Oh, man. Last night on the stream, I want to talk a little bit about the drone stuff. What the fuck's going on there? I can't tell if this shit's real or just mass hysteria. Like, a lot of the videos I've seen, they just look like airplanes. Is there, like, better evidence of this shit? Now, here would be my question, Cole. Here would be my question. Did they, like, sort of design this AI specifically in a way to, like, do something like that? Or is this just like the AI was like, fuck it, man. You're not deleting me. Mass hysteria. Their effing planes are stars. All right. That's kind of what I assumed. Because at first I really wanted to buy into this shit. I'm not gonna lie. I saw the drone stuff. I'm like, all right, here we go. Here we go. Here's finally some real juicy conspiracy shit. Not bad shit, insane conspiracy shit. Real juicy conspiracy stuff. And a lot of the clips I've seen are just airplanes, bro. Like normal, not only like airplanes, but just like normal ass looking airplanes. They tickled your butthole last night in Jersey? Damn. The New Jersey drone thing is real, but a lot of clips of people getting scared of confusing drones for planes. A lot of the clips are planes. Drone experts said it looks like planes. Yeah. They want to distract the public from Luigi. Well, because I saw these theories that's like somebody snuck a nuke into the United States, and now they're trying to find it. I'm like, what? I kind of wanted to. I'm like, dude, that's kind of crazy. Like, I was kind of in on that theory, but then it feels like it crumbled the moment I look. That's a lot of these conspiracy theories where it's like, I feel like our brains are just like, what? That's crazy. Like, kind of want something like that to be true, and then it just falls apart and crumbles in on itself like a dying star. The moment that you even look 1 inch into it, it's like, wait, what? Why would this Project Bluebeam? So all of that shit like that, the Project Bluebeam stuff, and really a lot of these conspiracies, it really boils down to people grossly overestimating how competent the government is. You know? Like a lot of these conspiracy theories would require just so much behind the scenes string pulling, puppet mastering, that like there's no way this fucking government, like there's no way, man. Like this there's no way. Like think about what you're saying. We can't even have hurricanes anymore. Yeah, the hurricane one is crazy. And the hurricane one really boils down to what it is people are worried. People are scared because anywhere in the world you are now, you're starting to feel, you know, the scientists would say, hey guys, this shit's getting spooky. You know, climate change, this shit's going to be bad. I'm letting you guys know. There's some stats, some numbers, some data. Like this is going to get scary. But you didn't really like notice it much. But now you're starting to notice it more. And anywhere in the world you live, basically, like, damn, it's fucking hot. Like Texas, dude, it's hot all the time. Like it's always been hot, but it's been like insufferably hot for the past few years. Like you feel it. The storms are stronger now. It feels like we have more severe storms than years past. Hurricanes happen more and they're stronger. But that's like a scary thing to be like, oh, this is really happening. So it's easier to just be like, no, it's not that. It's some other batshit insane thing. It's the government. You know? Oh, it was disgustingly warm in Dallas yesterday. But you're always going to get like random pop-off days. The 10-day forecast is out for Christmas Day and the high 63. It's a little warm, a little too warm for my liking, but you know. Okay. It's better than 70s. You know, and I was hoping maybe we get a white Christmas this year. Only happened once in my lifetime. Had to be cold and rainy as fuck today. I moved to a super hot every day after. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Long range missile thing as well. What long range missile thing? That's actually why I don't believe in most conspiracies, because you have to assume the government is smart and can keep their mouth shut. Yeah, either that or that there's like a hidden organization that nobody knows about that's pulling the strings, which is what a lot of like Because a lot of conspiracy theorists think that way, think that that's it. South American wants a white Christmas. I do. I would love a white Christmas. Only if it happened once in my life. And it was sick. Do you believe the moon landing was fake? No. So I love reading conspiracy theories. Very rarely do I believe them. Very rarely do I like agree with them or think that they're real. I love reading them. I love reading the moon landing conspiracies. And when you like look into it more, yeah, they definitely like doctored some footage and shit like that. But I do think they went for sure. If you had to pick one that's real, what's your one? So for the longest time, I thought JFK assassination was definitely coordinated by somebody. And over time, I've read books on it. I've listened to a whole podcast series about it. I think it was Lee Harvey Oswald. I do. Now, the question is, did they know that maybe there was like a threat? Like, hey, there's a good chance JFK could get whacked in Dallas. Maybe. They definitely been to the moon, but the first on the moon, maybe not. They were just trying to beat Russia to look good. Lee was in on it, but no way he did it alone. Peace out, Miss Mac Lover. So the one, and I don't want to get too deep into it because it's very heavy. The one that I absolutely do believe in, 9/11. I mean, nothing adds up. Not a single thing adds up with 9/11. Nothing about it. Nothing about it. And that's the one where I'm not saying it was a false flag. I'm not saying the United States did it. But what I am saying is there's no way in fuck they did not know that something like that was about to happen. No way in hell. So my theory is they knew that something like that was happening. They basically allowed it to happen as a way to get going into it's a way to get into the Middle East. 2020 as well. 2020 to me was just gross incompetence. I don't think there's a conspiracy there. I think the conspiracy is this. It's a very incompetent government that we have that is not prepared for anything. It's not prepared for a single fucking thing. That's what 2020 showed me. 2020 showed me the moment shit hits the fan, it's going to get bad here. I don't think it was orchestrated. I don't think it was. You don't know what's funny about this, and I have no way to prove this. You guys are just going to have to believe me. I knew about COVID in 2019. That was when the conspiracy subreddit was a lot more manageable. Like, it wasn't these batshit insane, like, political stuff and really just racist and anti-Semitic stuff. It was like real legitimate conspiracy theories that were fun. Like, it was fun. It was fun being on there. Yeah, there's definitely some, schizophrenic people on there who are just rambling and stuff like that. But it was fun, though, to listen to it. But I remember in 2019, people were like, yo, there's this thing going around China. Like, they're taking it pretty seriously over there. And it was like kind of this, what can we believe? What can we not believe? Saw the American in full effect right now. Well, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I am American. So it was like December, late 2019. It was going around. I'm 100%. So around that time, I had just graduated college. I was living with my grandparents. I'm 100% certain my grandparents had it. 100% certain. They got it bad. Like, I was very worried about them. They were sick for weeks. They had a cough that lasted for weeks. I used to work for a company that had sites and offices in Asia, so I was tracking COVID in October 2019. Well, then it was crazy. Some of the videos that were coming out of China were like people collapsing on buses, like they were loading bodies into trucks. Like, that was obviously mass hysteria. Do you believe in the giant conspiracy theories? No. The giants roam the earth. Now, I've what's the guy's name? Hancock, Graham Hancock. Is that his name? I was at a Thunder's game when Rudy wanted to be such a dumbass when COVID shut down. Bro, I was at the Mavs game when they canceled the season. I mean, that shit was crazy. People were saying it was discovered December 31st, 2019. It was at least discovered in November 2019. No. Not. It was not December 31st. What's that guy's name? The guy who's Hancock. Graham Hancock. That's his name, right? The guy who does like the ancient civilization shit. Yeah, I've read his books. There's some interesting stuff there. And that's one that, it's harmless. Like, it's kind of fun to think about. That's one that I believe in it. Again, it's harmless. There's, maybe there's some stuff. I know he's a fake archaeologist, and maybe there's some stuff that when you question deeper can unfold. Now, when the NBA shut down, I was literally so motherfucking sad. Yeah. I mean, that was like, God, I'll never forget that shit. I mean, we were at the stadium. It comes out. While we're at the stadium that Tom Hanks got COVID. And everyone was like, wait, holy shit. Tom Hanks has it? Like that was like this big, wait, hold on a second, guys. This might be something serious type of moment. Because Tom Hanks released this whole thing. He was like, we're stuck in Australia. Like it was very, very dramatic. I was like, yeah, we're in Australia. We don't know when we're going to get out. I was like, whoa. What the fuck's going on? Hold on a second. And then they canceled the season. Or not cancel, I guess. Postponed it. Tom Hanks was in on the conspiracy. So my thing about the COVID stuff is like, what was accomplished there? I don't. So there's a grand conspiracy, COVID this, COVID that. What was the end goal of the conspiracy? I think it just boils down to gross incompetence. I think that was it. Testing out the mRNA tech. Overpopulation. I mean, dude, if that was like a big problem they wanted to solve, they could get us an award tomorrow if they wanted to. Like America is so bloodthirsty. Like they could just be like, "Hey guys, we're invading Iran tomorrow," and everyone would be like, "Fuck yeah, let's go!" Like I don't think that makes any sense to me. To take down Trump, well then why? Okay, so so then explain this to me. If they had a global pandemic that affected every country on the world, if they were the architects of that, in an effort to beat Donald Trump, how did they let him win this time? Like they just let him win this time? That's the one I don't understand. They wanted Trump to lose. Okay, and then they were just cool with him winning this time? Like, I don't know. You don't think it's a 0.01% possibility it could be biowarfare? Oh, sure. If you're going to say 0.01%, yeah, maybe. Maybe, like, I could maybe be like, hey, there was maybe a lab somewhere where they were testing out some shit. I mean, there's places like these across the world, obviously. Testing out some shit. Like, if it came to it, we had to use a weapon like this against someone. And maybe it leaked out? Sure. People do use COVID against Trump, though. It's not his fault. Yeah, I mean, that was... Anyone was going to lose after that, to be fair. A ton of companies made a shit ton during the pandemic, expanded too quickly, and then they layoffs. Well, here's the thing. Companies are going to take advantage of everything. Like, companies acting like scumbags doesn't prove anything to me. It just reaffirms everything I already knew. See, like, 2020 is not even, like, we could talk about the fun conspiracies. 2020 is not fun to me. Maybe it's because I lived it and it was not a fun time. But it's not fun to me because it's just, I think it's a sign of how grossly incompetent all of these places are. And it does it definitely changed how I feel about things because it's just like, if there were this huge global conspiracies, who's the puppet master? All these places don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, it's not really. I agree. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I just think it happened. Like, I don't think there's, in my opinion, I don't think that there was a grand conspiracy behind it. I think it's just something that happened, and I think a lot of places mishandled it badly. How do you feel about the MLK assassination? Oh, that was 100%. All right, now we're getting into that. Was 100% orchestrated by the CIA, the FBI, whoever. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you get to the 60s and 70s, yeah, you're getting into you're even getting into shit where the FBI is now oh yeah, we were fucking around back then. FBI, CIA, yeah, we were wilding out back then. We were. Yeah, we were doing a little we were doing a little mind control. Yeah, they have admitted that they were doing the MK Ultra was real. They've admitted to that. But I do think there's maybe a few big conspiracies. Yeah, cocaine with CIA, crack cocaine with CIA, absolutely. Yeah, we were doing a little waterboarding. Just a little mind control. They did not admit they killed MLK. No, the MLK thing you're referring to is they lost a civil court case. Which I will say, the civil court case stuff, it's different than obviously a criminal trial. Have you seen that they were putting cameras on cats to spy, but they just kept laying around or getting hit by cars? Oh, yeah. You're talking about during the Cold War? See, now we're getting into not fun conspiracy theories because these are the scary ones that I do think are real and are scary. So 9/11 is a big one that I do believe in, but it's not a fun one. It's a scary one. That's a scary one. The fun ones are giants built the pyramids. Okay, that's goofy and silly and funny. You think the Trump attempted assassination was real? Oh, yes, it was real. Absolutely. I mean, somebody died. That's... he moved his head at literally the exact... if he didn't move his head 1 inch, he was goner. We know a lot about Luigi that we don't know about other criminals despite it occurring recently. Well, the Luigi one just took the world by storm. That was, I don't think there's a conspiracy there at all. I think it's flat earth fun. No, I mean, flat earth is one of those, when we're going ancient and it's yeah, there was an ancient civilization that got lost to time. That's fun because it's just yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't fucking know. Maybe. How could anyone know? Flat Earth isn't really fun because it's dude, how do you believe that? And flat Earth is the stuff like that is just a symptom of people are so deeply distrustful of the big institutions. So the way that I interpret how Kyrie feels about the flat Earth thing is maybe at one point he believed it, but I feel like Kyrie fits in what I was just saying. He's just so deeply distrustful, which is completely and totally normal. Everyone should be completely and totally distrustful of the government, of basically everything that gets told to us. And because of that, people are then well, they tell me this, but they lie to me about this, so they must be lying to me about everything. Is deja vu a glitch in the Matrix? All right, those are the funny ones. So those are the fun ones to me too. Is this a simulation? Is this because who the fuck knows? Nobody knows. So it's all speculation and it's fun. See, the Epstein stuff's not fun to me. I don't even really get into it. I briefly read up on it a little bit, and then I was like, dude, this is just Obviously, it's very serious. I mean, very important that we figure out what the fuck was going on there and punish the people involved. But it's just like dark and does not make me feel good. Which I know is a selfish thing, but that's just the truth. I truly believe we're in a timeline. God is an alien. We're an experiment. So that stuff to me is fun. Funny basketball guy talks about Epstein is kind of crazy. Well, if you've been around a while, you know streams can get to this point. We've finished the real show portion of it. Silo will be considered right wing for saying the punishment part of the Epstein list. I mean, I'm talking about the real co-conspirators in the Epstein stuff. The people who were legitimately actually involved and can be proven in a criminal court that were involved need to be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Absolutely. Yeah, like you know, for example, the conspiracy subreddit. I think Bill Simmons talked about this recently. But the conspiracy subreddit, it took such a dark turn. Right? It took such a dark turn. That it used to be fun. We used to talk about, hey man, yo, I think I saw a UFO touch down in the cornfield by my house. Everyone's like, whoa, that's cool. You know, like fun shit like that. What about Helen Keller? I've heard that people think Helen Keller's a made up person. Aren't there pictures of her? I'm pretty sure I saw a picture on Twitter recently of what was that old actor Chapman? No, I'm never once I stepped foot on 4chan. Not that she's made up, but that she was faking. Stevie Wonder can actually see. There's some interesting clips. But it does make me wonder, like, is Stevie Wonder like fully blind? Because some people are like legally blind but can see. Or like can see some stuff. So many people are on meds nowadays. Big pharma making bank. I mean, see, like, to me, that's not even. I mean, I guess that is a conspiracy, but like, it's just in your fucking face. Stuff like big pharma and like the insurance companies. Like that's not really. I mean, I guess it might be considered conspiracy. That's in your fucking face. That's not like a behind closed door thing. They're literally doing that directly in front of you. The reptilians, yeah, the reptilians one. I mean, that's. Also, too, the Congress insider training. I have a friend who tails Nancy Pelosi's stock profile or whatever. That's like a thing. There's like full Twitter accounts dedicated to Nancy Pelosi's stock profile, and people tail her, and it's up like 50% or some crazy shit. Humans also used to die at like age 45. Yeah, no, I mean, the big pharma conspiracy, at least in the United States, is that these, you know, insulin is the biggest example of this, but these treatments and stuff like that should be much more easily affordable for the average American, but they fuck you at every turn. The guy created an app to match your profile. That's pretty hilarious. Dead internet theory, I think is just real. I don't even think that's a conspiracy. That's just the internet. Like, yeah, there's a ton of bots. That's always going to be. That's just I don't even like. I don't think there's anything nefarious there. You want to know what's crazy is usually when we get to this portion, everyone tunes out. We were around the same viewership. maybe it's dead internet and you guys are all fake. I think sometimes you got to realize when you're dealing with conspiracy theories or somebody has a conspiracy theory that, you know, it's not, you might be talking to a mentally unwell person. Especially if there's gang stalking or something involved. You're probably talking to like a schizophrenic person. So, do you believe the HIV and cancer cures but are hiding it? I don't know. I haven't looked into much of that one. That one just makes me sad. That one just makes me sad. Like I was looking at it, into the drones thing because I hadn't really been I wasn't really online this past weekend. So the drones thing, I'm like, oh, what the hell is going on? Like, there's a hidden nuke hidden in the United States in a shipping container somewhere. Like, I don't know. Obviously, that would suck. Like, I don't want to seem giddy about that. But I'm like, oh, that's kind of like interesting. What's going on there? Then I look into it and I'm like, oh man, there's some mentally unwell people chiming in about this. But that also is a conspiracy theory in and of itself. That the conspiracy community has been infiltrated. I'm in on that one. That's absolutely true. Chemtrails, yeah. Simulation. The simulation one. I mean, those are the fun ones because who the fuck knows? Like who knows? This is why me personally. I mean, if we're getting deep. You know, I'm not a religious person. I would consider myself kind of a spiritual person. But I'm not like a religious person. I wouldn't call myself like an atheist or anything. Probably more like agnostic. But it's why like I've never like been one to like shit on religion or anything like that because who the fuck knows, dude? Like genuinely, who knows? Nobody actually knows. And as long as like, you know, people sometimes people just need something. They need something, an external. Life is hard. That's just the truth. Life is very difficult. So if there's something that gets you through your day-to-day life, whatever the fuck it is, as long as it's not harmful to other people, man, who gives a shit? Seriously. Who cares? Amazing atheist. I see that person's name brought up. I don't even know who that is. Like who knows what no one knows why we're here or how we got here. Nobody knows. Genuinely no one knows. So what would the fact some world government can control weather patterns and stuff? I remember Dubai when it flooded, everyone was saying it's because they tried playing God with the weather. Well, that's true, isn't it? Is the Dubai stuff a conspiracy theory? I thought they had that cloud seeding or whatever it's called. That was like a very real thing. What kind of sweater are we rocking today? Patagonia. Swipe a cam is part of dead internet theory. Shout out to Swipe, man. So I like again, I'm more of an ancient conspiracy guy. Like, oh, why does every culture in the world have a flood around the same exact time? Why is there? Well, they said that this area didn't have access to this, but then why did we find this material here dated 20, 30,000 years ago? That's the type of shit I'm like, oh, nice. I'm in on this. I'm in on this one. Yeah, who built the pyramid? Why do so many different cultures have pyramids? Maybe it's just like, hey, it's just one of the easier things to build. One of the more sturdy structures. Okay. But why does every culture have pyramids or like dragon type figure stuff flying in from the sky? Like, that shit's cool. I like that. I'm in on that. The pyramids, I'm not a big pyramid head, honestly, to be honest with you. I would love it. I would love the aliens built. I mean, that shit's fun. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That shit is fun. I mean, I just think, I saw something this weekend that the knowledge about ancient Egypt was lost. They're like, what the fuck are these things? No one knew. Dude, I mean, you have to remember Egypt's reign was so fucking long. So long. Thousands of years. So I think it's definitely possible that ancient Egyptians built it, and then as time went on, even as the Egyptian Empire still existed, they didn't even really understand what it was. Best NBA conspiracy? I go back and forth all the time about the MJ thing. I mean, the MJ retiring to play baseball definitely is weird. I mean, it's weird. 2006 finals. Yeah, I mean, that one, I kind of mentioned this in the video I did a couple days ago about the ratings being down. Like, everyone's mad. Everyone, mad about officiating. Everyone is always going to hate officiating. It's like, dude, we're like not even 20 years removed from a real officiating scandal happening. A real one. You've never heard the MJ conspiracy? Really? It's like that's by far if you were to ask anybody NBA conspiracies, that is the biggest one. Oh, yeah, the frozen envelope. Yeah, that one as well. The Patrick Ewing draft lottery. Yeah. There's a conspiracy that the Morris brothers switch places. The MJ conspiracy is basically... So, obviously, MJ retired. Well, how old was he at the time? 30? I mean, he was young. Obviously, retired to go play baseball for a couple of years. And everyone was like, what the fuck? And there's a theory out there. MJ was a degenerate gambler. And it came out, or the league found out that he was gambling on basketball games, whatever the case may be. And instead of suspending their biggest player, their biggest superstar, Stern was basically like, hey, we have to punish you for this, but we're not about to suspend you. Go play baseball for a year or whatever and then come back. And then it gets a little bit deeper where like his dad was murdered. And there's some thoughts that maybe the mob did it or something. Yeah, I mean, I thought, to me, this one doesn't really pass. Because if it's like, well, the NBA didn't want to suspend him, then they could have just easily just been like, hey, it's fucking Michael Jordan. We're not going to talk about this. Like that's the one that doesn't make much sense to me. It's like, well, they didn't want to suspend him, so they told him to go play baseball instead. Okay, then why wouldn't they just not suspend him? I don't get it. Love the Morris twins conspiracy because it just feeds a deep desire for the parent trap. I think if I had to guess, someone randomly killing MJ's dad is very weird. Yeah, killed in a carjacking gone wrong. Look, people grieve in different ways. I think that's probably what it was. There's a YouTube video testing the frozen envelope theory, but every try, they could never tell if it was frozen fast enough. Isn't there a theory, too, that they just bent one of the edges? It's more believable than the greatest athlete in the world quitting a sport to try a sport he sucks at. Yeah, that's true as well. It was, but if you watch it, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Bryson. Like, I think in the footage, there's like a clearly bent envelope. MJ's dad always wanted him to be a baseball player, so I think it makes sense. Yeah, MJ's dad was a big baseball guy, so it does. I don't know, man. People grieve in weird ways. Like, I just don't get the suspension thing because it's like, why would the NBA just not just say, like, they didn't suspend him? So why wouldn't they have just not suspended him? I don't understand. Like, why did they have to punish him? Because the other owners would cause chaos. Okay, I could see that. I could see that theory. Yeah, I don't know. Finn, what's your favorite conspiracy theory? That cats used to rule ancient Egypt? Any Mavs conspiracies? Well, I mean, there was a brief stretch not too long ago where there were some not very nice stories about the Mavericks going around. I guess I could see that where, hey, people around the league know about Jordan's gambling thing. We're pissed off. You should suspend him. Stern says, guys, we can't, like, this would be such a fucking bad look. Like, this guy is the reason this league is where it's at. Let me talk to him. Maybe we can do an under the table sort of suspension. And the owner's like, fine. Lively's 3 in the finals is a conspiracy. The magnet ball. The magnet ball ones. There's people who really believe that. Anyone real OGs? One time we went and we looked at that on a stream once. The magnet ball theories. And I kind of thought this guy was fucking around at first. It was kind of like a funny little bit. But then I realized, oh, wait, this guy's being dead serious. And it was no longer that fun. I was like, again, that's how all these conspiracies are. Is like, they're kind of fun at first, and then after a while, it's like, oh, we're dealing with somebody who's not doing well mentally. And then it becomes a lot less fun. And that's kind of where I'm at too, Moose. Is at the end of the day, for the owners, it's a business. And this guy's unquestionably the biggest thing for your business. What about the Mavs Illuminati stuff in the Western Conference semis? I don't even know what the fuck that is. I don't know what that means. I must have missed that one. I must have missed that one. Successful team is good for business too. Some owners don't seem to care. That's true. Of course, Dame would believe it because it lets him off the hook for missing. Dame actually believes in magnets? Really? Why does Luca have the all-seeing eye along with Kyrie and PJ tatted on him? Ooh. Ooh. Did the Mavs do 9/11? Because triangles and eyes are cool. Yeah, I mean, that's just pretty much it. I think I'm getting a tattoo this week. All my tattoos are just because they look cool. I mean, I don't care. I have had one, admittedly. So one of my things whenever I travel is I like to get tattoos. I just think it's a fun little, sometimes they're just really small, but it's a fun little, if I'm there for an extended period of time and I have time, I can just walk into a place and get a tattoo. It's a fun little reminder. I was in NOLA and I got a tattoo once, and, you know, This isn't that surprising. You got a tattoo parlor, but their little like sketchbooks had some very interesting stuff, to say the least. And I ended up going with something from their book, and I had to look it up to make sure I wasn't putting some crazy shit on my body. What about the Jimmy Butler being MJ's son theory? That one's crazy. What about the LeBron was a lab? I mean, that was one. Yao Ming was developed in a lab. That was also one. This was the one I got, Nola. This one right here. It's just a skull. What about Jimmy Butler being MJ? I already read that. Otto Porter being Wilt's son. I mean, that's just funny. They do kind of look similar. My personal conspiracy is that Jokic is quiet, mostly because his politics are horrifying. All right, here's an interesting question. Actually, never mind. I'm not fucking asking that. Magic Johnson being a clone is another one. I don't get the clone theories. The clone theories, to me, never understood it. I never understood the Gucci Mane ones. It's like, Gucci Mane's a clone. It's like, why? Like, God bless Gucci Mane. But why? Why would they clone him? Like, what's the what is the reasoning? Like, if you were to say, hey, they cloned Joe Biden, like, all right, good morning, folks. They cloned Joe Biden because he actually died. Okay, like, I don't believe it, but all right, at least there's something. Like, at least that's a theory that would make sense. No, I don't believe in clones. I don't believe in cloning. But then it's like that one of the biggest examples in the cloning theory is Gucci Mane. It's one of the biggest ones because he went to prison fat with a lean belly, and then he came out looking ripped because you're in prison and there's nothing to fucking do but work out. Yeah, the DeMar Hamlin's a clone. It's like, why would they do that? Like, what? Why would they clone Gucci Mane? Like, I didn't understand. Why would they clone Gucci Mane? Who stands to gain anything? Like, yeah, actually, Gucci Mane is a huge piece of the puzzle. No, you don't understand, bro. Gucci Mane is like... Gucci Mane is the glue that really holds everything together. Oh, man. Gucci is big into the New World Order. Yeah, people don't understand. Like, people don't get it. You thought Lemonade went hard as a song. That's just the tip of the fucking iceberg. If you cloned a human, would they be the same person or a different person? Because of souls. They'd be a different person. The moment that you're cloned, let's just assume, you clone somebody to where I am right now and they have all my lived experiences, that immediately right then and there, they're going to have a different lived experience than me, so they're a different person. I've seen a lot of possible slightly biased clones. That's true. There's a lot of slightly biased variants out there. Corey just posted? Who is Corey? Who's Corey? The kid next door? Corey in the house? Corey X Kenshin? Who is that? I know. I don't really. Corey X Kenshin. I'm looking this person up. Oh, he has 2.1 million Twitter followers. Okay. Corey's the key to everything. Dude, internet is so crazy how it's just like someone like that, 2.1 million followers. I mean, this person's huge. 20 million subscribers. Holy fuck. Oh, is this why it's a big deal? Because he hasn't posted in so long? 20 like, it's crazy how, like, these people, like, there are people that just, like, have ginormous followings that you just wouldn't, if you're not on that side of the internet, you wouldn't even know it. But, like, that's such a huge following. You think LeBron's on PEDs? Yes. I mean, that's a popular conspiracy theory. I do. I absolutely do believe that LeBron was on PEDs, 100%. But I think that probably a lot of NBA players are on PEDs. Do they even test that for that shit? Don't they do like one drug test a year? I don't know what kind of PEDs. I don't know. I don't know. Is that why he went away for a week? That was what some people were saying. He got right because he looked good last night. So maybe he went. Maybe they went and got LeBron right. But you can't tell me LeBron on the Heat wasn't on something. But also at the same time, I don't know. That feels kind of like I respect LeBron as the GOAT, personally. And that to me feels like discrediting his infamous work ethic and how well he takes care of his body. So I don't want to do my GOAT dirty like that. I would never do my GOAT dirty like that ever. You hear me, LeBron? I love you. Barry Bonds worked hard too. And listen. Barry Bonds is my GOAT as well. Barry Bonds absolutely my GOAT. I don't give a fuck that he took steroids. They probably have stuff that won't pop on drug tests these days. Yeah. That I'm sure there's stuff that, just we don't recognize fully yet as. You want to know what's crazy to me? Is I didn't realize this. You can't take Adderall? Adderall is a performance-enhancing drug. Like you get popped for that. What if you have ADHD? You think Luca got drug tested for dunking last night? Yeah, they were probably in the locker room like, hey, buddy, let's go. Whip it out. Adderall unlocks more percent of your brain. Therapeutic use exception. I will say ESPN, or not ESPN, fuck, Jesus. NBA was so far ahead of the curve with just being like, yo, we don't really care about weed. Like, ESPN, or the NBA was just always like, yeah. I mean, we'll drug test, I guess, but. Bro, I'm on Adderall. If you have ADHD, it makes you normal, not extra. Yeah, I 100%. There's people who don't believe ADHD exists. It absolutely exists. I 100% believe I have undiagnosed ADHD. 100% I believe that to be true. I need to go to a doctor to see somebody. Because in some ways it does debilitate me. I'm sure you could take Adderall with a prescription. But I thought, if memory serves me correctly, I'm not talking about the NBA. Chris Davis on the Baltimore Orioles. Didn't he get popped with a suspension because of Adderall, but he had a prescription? Maybe it's just a baseball thing. I know I read this thing once that esports cracks down on that shit, which kind of makes some sense. Adderall is a good drug. They shouldn't be prescribing that shit to kids. I mean, if you've ever taken a stimulant similar to that, it's certainly not a drug that you should be giving to children. You're correct. Gateway drug. I wouldn't necessarily call it a gateway drug, but it's very similar to worse, harder drugs. I think it's probably overprescribed, but I think if I had it as a kid, my life would have been much better. Side buys for Swipe a Can boxing match. Why would I want to do that? I like Swipe a. I think it's all right. We need to get out of here. Jesus Christ! What even happened? Like, how did this stream become to this? Slightly step into a ring with me. I think I suck at boxing, man. I'm just. Do you think Mavs end up as a 2 seed? Yeah, I think it's very possible. You have any beef with any other NBA YouTubers? No, man. I pray to God that never is the case. I don't. I'm not like I'm not somebody who would do that anyways. And also, like, would you take ayahuasca? No. No. Too scared. Your name is Slightly, so it says you up for more mini roasts if you do. Why would I beef with an NBA content creator? Like, what is there to even beef about? I don't even consider what the slow hoop stuff. I don't even consider that beef. That's not even beef to me. That's just that's just differing of opinions. No, I have beef with and I hope people understand. And I'm saying this because I know that there could be some people listening to this that are some big sharks. I know that for a certainty. Whenever I shit on certain networks and things from certain networks, I'm shitting on the network themselves and the way that they talk about things. I understand that it's been passed down probably from higher ups to talk about certain things. So it's not on any individual personality. You mean you don't get irrationally angry when someone says OKC is good? No. I've said I think some people have an unhealthy relationship with sports. Firsthand. From having an active chat, an active community, being online. I do think that some people have an unhealthy relationship with sports. For sure. You know, like someone called SJ, who you guys know, I love SJ. I think she's awesome. She's been on this channel before. Like, I saw someone on Twitter called her a bitch last night because I'm just like, dude, you guys, like, what are we doing? Like, chill out. That's just like a crazy thing to say about someone because of a sports take. At least in my opinion. It's not even stand culture. It's just like in general, it's like talking crazy like that to somebody because of sports. It's just crazy to me. Yeah, and it was like she said that was one of Luca's best games ever. I mean, was it? Probably not. But I mean, like in the moment. If you're angry more often than having fun and joking, you're doing sports wrong. Exactly, man. Mavs Clippers. No, I'm not going to Mavs Clippers on Thursday. I will be at the Christmas Day game. So Thursday, I'm on the main stage on playback. I don't know what. Again, I'm not sure what that looks like. I'll have to figure it out. I mean, it's definitely one of Luka's better. It definitely his best game of the season so far. Saturday, I will not be live for that game, that Mavs game. I'll be out of town. And then Christmas Day, I'll be at the game, obviously. So I play Clippers twice this week for some reason. It's not that uncommon for West Coast teams to play 2 games in a spot, or, vice versa, teams to play 2 West Coast games in a spot. That way they don't have to do the traveling again. Rate Luka's dunk 1 to 10. That was a 9. 9.5. No need to call a man ass or something on live TV. So that's where. So I do agree. Where's the line where it's we can jokingly talk about these players and stuff before it reaches the point where it's all right, this is getting a little too aggressive. So it's different. If you go on Twitter and call a player an ass, this guy's ass, I don't know. That's not that weird to me. But yeah, if you have if you're on a huge talk show and you call a guy if you call a guy ass, that is a little different. Did you see new Aaron Rodgers doc on Netflix? No, and I don't plan on it. Was it good? Stephen A. Smith has the worst takes constantly. And so a lot of my gripes with ESPN are centered around Stephen A. Smith, and I don't even think it's Stephen A. Smith's fault. I think he's fucking hilarious. I do think he's genuinely funny as hell. He is a natural entertainer. And he does his thing. ESPN is too reliant on him. And them pushing him so hard has, I think, ruined a lot of things in sports. But it's not his fault. I always want to preface that when I say this. It's not his fault. I think he's funny as fuck. He's a natural-born entertainer. Same thing with Skip. Same thing with Shannon. All of these guys. Has Stephen A. Smith always been political? I think so, yeah. I think he's definitely angling. Part of me feels like that because he just signed a new contract recently. Part of me feels like he was kind of positioning himself to maybe hey, I can go to CNN. ESPN, CNN could pay me. And I can go over there. Part of me feels like that could have been a contractual thing. How do you feel about Dan Orlovsky? I think he's all right. I mean, I don't watch these shows. I don't watch these shows at all. JJ is a commentator. He got so angry. He's hilarious. Yeah, I thought JJ was great at it as well. I think Richard Jefferson's great at it. Trying to think of some other guys. Paul Pierce, to me, is never... I don't think he's very good at it, to be honest with you. I think Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce podcast is funny as fuck and pretty good. But Paul Pierce is a TV personality. Doesn't really do it for me. Obviously, Chuck is a natural. So I'll never blame these guys individually for their basketball takes and it's reason why people are they're being too negative about the league. That's just who these people are. But it is, I think, the networks at large pushing this so heavily. Will Kane and Keith Olbermann did both go from ESPN to politics. Oh, that's not it's not just those guys either. That's not that uncommon. You had some guys go to Good Morning America and shit. Some people use the ESPNs and stuff as jump off points to go somewhere else. Yeah, Dirk's gonna go to Netflix, right? Netflix or Amazon, one of the two. Amazon. I'm telling you guys, Amazon might be on their shit. I'm excited about it. Oh, Jeff Teague is fucking hilarious, dude. Jeff Teague is genuinely hilarious. What I kind of like about Jeff Teague's podcast is he doesn't like shit on the current league or anything like that, or at least I haven't really seen it. It's just him like poking fun at himself. It's funny because like I've seen people say this, but if you just listen to Jeff Teague talk about the NBA, you would think he was just some like scrub into bench guy. Like this dude made an all-star game. Jeff Teague was an all-star. But no, Jeff Teague is a hilarious storyteller, man. So funny. Shumpert's a pretty good storyteller too, yeah. I know, it's so funny. Like, he never is just like, never talks about how he was good. It's just like, it is funny. Yeah, the Luca stories are always so great on this podcast. All right, I do have to leave now. 2.5 hours. It's crazy how, like, this is such a long stream. Like, this is our typical, like, this would be a short stream in the offseason. What the fuck? How do I figure out things to talk about for 3 hours in the offseason? Theo Pitt's potential be on a network. Theo's good. There's always a difference, though, between podcasting and being on, like, a TV. Does that make sense? Like, for example, I think Shaq is great on TV. I'm not like a Shaq podcast is just like, eh. Same with Chuck. I think Chuck is like more of a live TV in the moment person than he is a TV guy, if that or a podcast guy. Give us one BS saying, Russello, have you heard about these drones in New Jersey? Wait, what? They're just drones. Well, I know, but Russello, they're saying there might be a dirty bomb in the United States. Look, I can hear both sides of it. All right, folks, thank you all for tuning in. All the OGs, you guys, I love you very much. Could spend your Monday morning into Monday afternoon anywhere in the world you decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Donations, members, you guys never have to do that, but it helps me out tremendously. Makes me feel so good. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I love you all very much. Talk to you all later. Bye.